Omega Katana.
Yo, this is your boy, the Omega Katana, and yes, I am back because I feel like doing another video. And sorry about not having a script this time and then going off topic a bit or having blanks or being short as usual, because basically what I just discovered is that I was scrolling through Twitter or X, whatever you call it, and apparently I saw this tweet here. Basically, let me point the tweet out here. And yes, so basically this as you can see in this picture here, besides the Armored Core 6 gameplay footage, is that here's what's intriguing. The highest lifetime dollar sales of Final Fantasy games in the US. Why the US? Because I live in the US, I'm from the US? No. Not just that, but look at the top 3 entries. And I cannot wait to hear your results in the comment section. But Final Fantasy or Final False 15 is number 1. Behind it is Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and number 3 is the original Final Fantasy 7. Let me just tell you that Final Fantasy 7 and its remake are eclipsed by a disappointing, mid, half-baked, rushed, disappointing, false advertising entry in the franchise. You wonder why? Multi-platform. Let me say it again. Multi-platform. Despite all that, Square Enix likes to pretend this game doesn't exist, as well as it split the Final Fantasy fandom into two halves: the hack and slash and the turn-based entries. And let me tell you something here. What intrigues me, despite me not liking Final Fantasy 15, it's because of its original counterpart, Final Fantasy Versus 13. That every time 15 gets brought up, people still talk about Final Fantasy Versus 13 somehow, despite being trailers. How does trailers are more memorable than the final product? I already went over this with some couple videos ago. But this tells you the power and hype of those Final Fantasy Versus 13 trailers and putting your games into multiple platforms that aren't from Microsoft or Nintendo or Sony or so on and so forth. I said it, people. Imagine if it still had Nomura's vision and him being involved in it. Even if it's going to be a disappointment or not as good as trailers, or it's going to be good or better than trailers if the game came out as promised, it still would have sold like hotcakes and be rememberable as one of the best Final Fantasy games of all time. But here we are with Final Fake 15. No disrespect for its fans. No offense to them. That's my opinion. This proven that Versus 13 had such an impact on the gaming community that it made its disappointing final product is the best-selling Final Fantasy game in the United States. Hear me out, people. Like it or not, here's the facts. If you don't like this one, let me show you another one. Another tweet here. It's insane, right? Look at this. It's from an industry professional who's analyzes sales and whatnot. And let me just tell you, it is insane that Versus 13 helped sold Final Fantasy 15 full stop. So what are your thoughts on the comments? I know you guys, a bunch of you guys are going to complain and run to me and tell me Final Fantasy 15 is just a good game. You're just too harsh on it. But the game, I already said my piece on it multiple times on my Twitter channel. I don't want to be like a broken bird. But I'm just pointing this out right now. This will prove that Final Fantasy 15 can be rebooted into Final Fantasy Versus 13. Or Final Fantasy 15 reboot with a Latin name or some sort. Or Return or Final Fantasy 15 Versus. Or Final Fantasy Versus. Or Final Fantasy 15-2 or 15 Versus or whatever. But hear me out. Again, read this. It's baffling that it's the best-selling entry in the US, surpassing the ultra-popular, pop culture-defining Final Fantasy VII and its remakes. Despite its pop culture appeal, the sales numbers speak another tune, despite not many liking it. But I'm not saying, haha, I'm the 15 fanboy. No, I'm a Versus 13 fanboy. That's what I am. Not a 15 fanboy. No. That's not it. And that's why I did this video, because a tweet won't do it justice at all. Nada. None. Zilch. And I already said, what are your thoughts about it? Because I can't wait to read them. But hear me out. I don't know if this is the cause that will let Tetsuya Nomura come back to Final Fantasy Versus 13 or the 15 project or Noctis in general, because basically when you got kicked off a project, when you had trouble with its development for years, most people, about 98.9%, don't want to return to it and don't want to remember it. But due to like Virum Rex in Kingdom Hearts 3 and its secret endings, speak otherwise. And him dressing up like young Noctis, or sitting like Noctis in some interviews, says otherwise. He will more than glad to go back to it. But my head said like he will, but in reality, 98% says he will not, because his commitments to other projects, as well as having trauma on its development of Versus 13 and being forced to step down from it to work on Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Final Fantasy Remake trilogy. I don't know what he thinks, but it's still a mystery how he thinks about Final Fantasy, about going to return to Final Fantasy 15 if he had the chance to reboot it and tell the story he wanted to tell. I don't know about you, but let me just say that I've been waiting and waiting till his return, till the King's return, or the Night Sky Prince. Till then, people, the Omega Katana is shutting the gates of the Omega Dimension. Please like the video, dislike the video if you hate it. Subscribe, tell your friends and family or news agency about the 13th Dimension. Until then, people, that's all I have to say for now. Omega 13 is shutting down the gates of the 13th Dimension. Sayonara.